It's a new day of the week. Thank you for joining us on E-15, the program that gives you daily analysis of the 2015 general elections. I am Ayodele Osubaku. It's 41 days to the commencement of the 2015 general elections, and Nigerians can't wait for the commencement. Following the crisis rocking the northeastern part of Nigeria, the founding pastor of the latter rain assembly and former vice presidential candidate of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change, Pastor Tunde Bakare, has called on the federal government and the National Assembly to activate the constitutional provisions for the suspension of the 2015 elections. On this evening, we shall be taking a critical look on E-15, that program that will count down to the 2015 election. And what we also get your own view on the 2015 election by the feedback we get through your phone calls. This and many more will come your way after this time out. Don't go away. Stay with us.
It's time to redefine the news. It's time to hear your own side of every story. It's time to drop old habits and take the front seat with our up-to-date news reports and analysis. Watch TVC News Nigeria for fresh perspectives every hour on the hour. On Contact Channel 190. TVC News Nigeria. First, accurate, reliable.
If you're just joining us, you're right on time for E-15 Election 2015, that program that we're counting down to the 2015 general election, the program that will carry out in-depth and critical analysis about the 2015 general elections. And to do just that with me, I have members of the 4th Estate of the Realm, and today I'm introducing Mustafa Ogunshakin making his debut. Mustafa.
Ayo, thank you very much. Good evening, BS.
And Aruna Abib, Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
And Jide, we're here all through the Yuletide, Christmas, New Year, and we're still here, Jide.
Yes, it has to be. Joey journalists don't go on leave that way.
So let me start with you, Mustafa. Pastor Tunde Bakare calling for 42 days to election, calling for the postponement of the 2015 election, citing what is happening in the northeastern part of Nigeria and the problem that has traced this distribution of the permanent voter cards.
Well, I think Pastor Tunde Bakare is a well-respected Nigerian, a lawyer by profession, and is a Christian, is a pastor. Looking at everything that is happening, if Pastor Bakare is saying this, I think it is something that we must take very, very seriously. Because if you look at the way things are going, you find out that there are a lot of challenges, particularly on this PVC issue. There are several areas that people have not been able to collect their permanent voters card. What happens to these people? Does it mean that they will not be able to vote? And I'll give an example. Alimosho local government in Lagos State is the largest local government in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And as of today, I'm not sure whether 30% of the residents of Alimosho has been able to get their...
Of eligible voters.
Of eligible voters have been able to get their permanent voters card. It has always been one problem or the other. At Ajasa command area, which I witnessed, I found out that there are whole polling units that they say that their records disappear from INEC register.
500 people at once.
You know, they said, and these people are so desperate, they want to register, and every time they come, surprisingly, there will be one violence or the other. I know of people that have had to trek to Gowon Estate.
From Ajasa Command.
From Ajasa Command.
That's Baja from.
Yes, you are talking about 5 kilometers distance.
Wow.
You are talking about 5 kilometers
to get registered.
From
Command. And you know what? They were even ready to pay, to bribe, to even get this thing done. These are things I've even written about it. So if things are like this, shouldn't we take Pastor BAKARE seriously?
Habib,
Ayo.
Habib, let me ask my question. I know you are very eager to, do a follow-up to what Mustafa said.
Absolutely.
Now, we voted billions of naira, and INEC, they put all machinery in place to make sure the presidential election will start on the February 14th, and we are counting down. Now, for not just a man of God, for somebody to come out to say, INEC has not come out to say it's not feasible. INEC has extended the number of times you can register and collect your PVC till the end of this month. Is it justifiable to postpone the 2015 election based on Pastor BAKARE's observation? We can never go to the election with having everything perfect.
Ayo, I share the sentiments of Mustafa, my friend, with regards to the elections. Pastor BAKARE is just a Nigerian. We are giving credence to what he's saying because of his person and the role he has played in the past. But I want to take the pastor's comment into the context of what we've been saying, that we need to be on guard, we need to be vigilant. I want to subscribe to the fact that because he has raised this issue, then we have to give a lot of importance to the idea of postponing the elections. I will not buy that idea. I will only subscribe to the fact that, yes, it's part of what people are saying. One, the issue of security in the Northeast, the issue of PVC, and the issue of that palpable fear that there may be violence after the elections. So, with regard to INEC, they've not satisfied the budget. They've not completed the budget of INEC.
Yes, I understand this. They are still pushing for 17 billion.
75 billion of INEC budget are not being paid by the federal government. I think it's for us to now insist that the federal government should do its own bidding, pay that money. But the apprehension, the reservation of Pastor BAKARE should be seen in the context of the fact that let's insist that everything must be put in place to be free after elections.
That's
exactly
the insurgents in the Northeast must be quelled.
No.
42 days to the election.
I'm just there was government election in Yobe. There was election in Afghanistan. There's an election in even Syria. So the fear is raising is for us, all of us to take note of it, raise in line with the challenges we are facing, and make sure that the election is, because if you don't hold the election on the 14th of February, you cannot rule out. There are many things, there are many issues that may arise. So I think we should put INEC on guard and other agencies and institutions that are about that election and make sure it holds.
Do you want to coast in the same ship with Mustafa and Aruna?
No, Mustafa and Aruna are not exactly saying the same thing. Honestly, they are not exactly saying the same thing. Mustafa favors
what BAKARE is saying.
What BAKARE is saying.
No,
what he wants.
What
he wants. Yes. When you say they must take him seriously, that means there's a lot of value in what he has said. Which means that what Musti wants is a situation whereby Nigerians are not unduly disenfranchised. And if INEC needs time to ensure that our people are not unduly disenfranchised, right, then it must happen. It was going to happen in 2011 because we are people with an eye for history. It was going to happen in 2011, and the election was postponed by a week.
Yes.
Because at the time of the first
election, yes,
in 2011,
yes,
at that time, some of the electoral materials had not even arrived in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
result sheets.
Yes, especially yes, that's the result sheet from
E8A.
From what do they call it?
E8A.
Yeah. So now, the point is, and I've said this before, because I know that INEC does not particularly have a good record when it comes to preparing for elections. We've seen INEC preparing for by-elections in some states and not still get it right. We've seen INEC preparing for just one election in an entire country, and yet they were not ready. So now, how are we sure that this election is not going to be a joke? My own worry is for a sizable portion of Nigerians not to be able to take part in this once in 4 years ritual. It will be very, very bad. It will be very unfair on our people. And if our people are saying that they want change, it is only a credible process that can midwife that change. That is why you cannot say that Pastor BAKARE is an unserious person. He doesn't have that kind of reputation. You know, he must have sat through this. You must have thought through it. I mean, and come to the conclusion that within the time that we have left, these people will not be able to ensure that our people are not unduly disenfranchised. That's why he called for that time. As for the matter of insurgency, if you observe in the last few days, Boko Haram has intensified its attacks, not just in Nigeria. In fact, in Cameroon. Cameroon announced about 4 days ago that it was going to recruit 20,000 more soldiers to counter Boko Haram. I've said on this forum, I've said elsewhere that Nigeria does not have enough troops to defeat Boko Haram. People will tell you, no, now we are seeing it. Cameroon is recruiting 20,000 extra troops.
As small as Cameroon is.
Because in the last few days, in the last few weeks, Boko Haram has been taking the battle to the heart of Cameroon and is causing so much trouble in Cameroon. In fact, the towns on the border with Nigeria, Cameroon has closed down all the schools there.
Today I watched a video. I watched a video and so pathetic. The process of converting people to be members of Boko Haram, as in if you see the numerical strengths and the way in which they attack, you know, any particular target in which they have. Now, when you can have 500 Nigerian soldiers, by the time you have like 2,000.
Do you know what they do?
How?
See, Nigerians.
Where are they getting them from?
Many Nigerians are ignorant and they like to speak glowingly about issues that they know next to nothing about. Boko Haram continues to attack Cameroon villages to seize boys. 18 years, from 11 to 18 years. Those are the boys they use for suicide bombing. If you go on the net, you see Cameroon officials complaining about the fact that Boko Haram has been attacking their villages and seizing boys. That's why in some of those communities along the border with Nigeria, Cameroonians have fled. But we keep getting the impression that the Cameroon army is so excellent, is this and that. Of course, the community near Baga in Borno State that was attacked during the weekend was under the army base there is under the command of the multinational force. Multinational force made up of Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and Nigeria. And Boko Haram still successfully overran it. But when you read on Facebook, where a lot of ignorant people are on the rampage, they talk about Nigerian troops. We are talking now about a terrorist force. A terrorist force. Yes, now ignorant people pretending to know so much. Boko Haram is now overrunning multinational African forces. You know what that means?
Shows you
it's not the first time. There is a town called Ameshid. Ameshid is also in Borno State. It is also under the multinational force. Boko Haram overran it about 4 weeks ago. Because I take interest in some of these matters, I know that it is not our troops alone that have problems with these guys. And now you see that they are moving into Gombe. They are attacking Gombe regularly now. They are attacking some parts of Bauchi. And you want to do elections in all of those places. On election day, they will find sitting ducks. That is easy targets in a lot of our people who line up to be voted. Now, already by the report that we ran last night on TVC News Nigeria, 13 local governments are currently now under the full control of Boko Haram.
In Borno State?
No, not Borno alone.
Across boards?
In Borno, 9 local governments completely under their control. But some other local governments that they are in control of are in Adamawa and Yobe. So how do you even do elections in those places? What the military promised us was that before the election, they would be able to stabilize things, but they also have had problems even buying weapons. They went to Pakistan, they were bringing weapons, and Saudi Arabia stopped them. So they must have said, okay, we can get some weapons in, and we can ramp up our attacks on these people. But the military is also facing problems.
Mustafa,
so I'm really confused.
Where do we go from here? Because looking at this picture that Jide has painted, it's very, very difficult to say go ahead with the election. But at the same time, the election is like something that is sacrosanct. That's
Absolutely.
we must conduct, and it must go on. If you are calling for an extension or a postponement, 42 days to that election, it's difficult.
Honestly, even at this juncture, the best of minds may be confused. Because
I'm confused.
I'm
confused.
Because
I want that election.
Okay, Pastor Bakare was quoting section 135(3) of the 1999 Constitution, which provides that if the Federation is at war in which the territory of Nigeria is physically involved and the President considers that it is not practicable to hold elections, the National Assembly may, by resolution, extend the period of 4 years mentioned in subsection 2 of this section from time to time. But no extension shall exceed a period of 6 months and at any given time. So Pastor Bakare is a lawyer, and is saying that the president should take his power from section 135, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution.
This provision of the Constitution would have been much more applicable here if we know that the response of Mr. President in the past have been something to really write home about. But if we, for instance, take this option, the constitutional option, under what government? One of the major reasons why Nigeria wants a change today is to be able to solve this problem of terrorism. All this insurgency. It's no longer even, it's terrorism to the core. So if we are now saying that, okay, we want a postponement
under the same
dispensation, that we know that have not been able to respond favorably to the same issue of security, where do we go?
I don't even think we need up to 6 months. I don't even need up to 6 months.
I think I share Mustafa's position.
For the second time?
Oh, yes.
Partially or completely this time?
No, partially. I don't think the issue of insurgency, which to me is not the issue we are discussing today, even though the way you describe it.
No, the picture you have painted, a perfect picture that because
I'm more despondent than ever before.
I wish
maybe
I'm telling you the way
I wish my producer can get me. I wish my producer can get me the number of registered voters in Borno State, Yobe, and Adamawa states. Now you now see the number of people, potential voters that might be disenfranchised from these 13 local government Jide has mentioned.
The picture the Jide painted. Well, I wouldn't want to start with you because I just imagine the condition and atmosphere that pervades currently.
We understand that people are in Chad, that they run to Chad, they run to the Niger Republic.
We are here discussing
that we have even a refugee camp.
People are suffering. So can you really hold elections in those places? Can you?
It's difficult.
But then
the Constitution says that no part of Nigeria must be left out.
Yes. Must be left out. But at the same
time, for it to be a general election.
It's for us to cry out now. And it's for those, as I said, agencies and institutions that are responsible for elections to tell us whether it's possible to have
the INEC should speak out.
Yes, INEC should speak out. I learned that last week that the reps invited Jega to come and tell them what Jega is doing as part of the preparation for elections. I've not heard anything from it, and I'm also aware that the president said they are not sleeping. The government is not sleeping. The government is not sleeping. The military is not sleeping with regards to the issue of insurgency. But the picture painted by this man now, Ayo, I must tell you, I'm disturbed.
I'm sorry, if I'm just interject. I'm a Nigerian. Having regard to what Jide has just said, the question I ask myself, if I were to be INEC official, would I want to go and work at Yobe
even with bulletproof
or Borno? If I'm posted to that place, wouldn't I run to my village?
It's been the problem with Jega is inconsistency. Some time ago, he said no way that INEC will not hold elections in those states, of the northeast, where there is this insurgency is taking place. Later on, I guess from assurances from the
But
military.
Jide, you agree with me? The problem in,
Then-
in the northeastern part of Nigeria,
Yes.
Sometimes Nigerian troops will seem to be on top of the situation.
Yes.
Another time, like what happened yesterday, Boko Haram will overrun some communities.
No,
so
you see-
it's not a stable situation.
Yes, there was a time when more than a quarter of the local governments in Borno State was under the control of these people.
Boko Haram.
Yes, including towns like Damboa, you know, and the Nigerian troops went after them, chased them away. But when you chase them away, one thing in war is that when you take a territory, you must hold the territory. That means you must put troops on ground.
Troops on ground.
You don't
before
have
you
enough
advance.
troops. Borno State is a very big state. It's just like Cross River. How many troops do you want to put in Cross River to police the whole of that state? It's very large. And we are talking about desert. Now, what they are doing is all those communities along the long highway to Cameroon, stretching from Adamawa, you know, from the likes of Michika, you know, Vintim, all of those communities, Uba, Askira, Uba, you know, all of those communities are under their control. And it was not like that before. Goza was seized in August. So things have gone really bad. You capture this territory today, they move to somewhere else to go on.
As a matter of fact, when we have a regular army that is doing this battle, they are engaging a guerrilla
Force.
The program is E-15, a discussion program centered on issues and activities on the 2015 general elections in Nigeria. We'll go for this short break now, and we'll come back after this time out. The good news is that on TVC Entertainment, we're going to come back, and we'll surely be back. Stay with us.